The massive alien scout ship hung silently above Earth's atmosphere, its metallic surface gleaming with countless advanced technological interfaces. Inside the command deck, Administrator Krell observed the blue-green planet with a mixture of mild curiosity and profound bureaucratic disinterest. Kim Jae-hwa watched the alien vessel through the high-resolution screens at Earth's primary defense center. His weathered hands, marked by years of military service, rested calmly on the control panel. Around him, a team of specialists monitored every microscopic movement of the extraterrestrial craft. "Incoming transmission," announced a young technician, her fingers dancing across holographic displays. The communication burst into the room, a standard galactic protocol message that had subjugated countless civilizations before. The alien administrator's voice was cold, calculating, almost bored. "Planetary inhabitants of designation, Earth. Your civilization has been identified as potential candidate for Galactic Confederation integration. Prepare for systematic assessment and potential resource allocation. Resistance is mathematically improbable." Jae-hwa's lips curled into a slight smile. The aliens had no idea what they were walking into. Beneath the calm exterior of the defense center, humanity's most advanced systems were already in motion. Quantum encrypted networks hummed with silent energy. Orbital defense platforms, invisible to conventional scanners, began their subtle activation sequences. The alien ship continued its scan, collecting data about Earth's technological infrastructure. Their sensors were sophisticated, capable of detecting military installations, communication networks, and industrial capabilities. What they saw seemed disappointingly primitive. Agricultural zones, scattered technological centers, complex but seemingly fragmented communication networks. To the Galactic Confederation, Earth looked like hundreds of other emerging civilizations they had encountered and subsequently controlled. What their sophisticated sensors couldn't detect was the intricate web of human innovation brewing just beneath the surface. In a small research facility thousands of kilometers from the primary defense center, a team of scientists led by Dr. Park Sung-min was completing final tests on a revolutionary adaptive nanotechnology weapon system. Each microscopic component could reconfigure its molecular structure in milliseconds, adapting to any potential threat. "They're scanning us," Sung-min muttered, watching multiple holographic displays. Typical Confederation approach. Assess, categorize, integrate. Back at the defense center, Jae-hwa made a subtle hand gesture. Immediately, multiple communication channels activated, not through traditional radio waves but through quantum-entangled communication networks that would be invisible to the alien scanning technologies. The alien administrator, Krell, continued, reviewing the initial planetary assessment. Standard protocol suggested a preliminary diplomatic engagement, followed by a demonstration of technological superiority to ensure quick submission. Little did they know, humanity had been preparing for this moment for decades. Earth's global defense network wasn't just a military installation. It was a complex adaptive organism, part technological infrastructure, part strategic intelligence system. Every scan the alien ship performed was actually feeding carefully constructed misinformation into their databases. Technological capacity, low, the alien systems concluded. Potential resistance, negligible. Jae-hwa chuckled softly. The aliens were making the same mistake countless civilizations before them had made, underestimating humanity's capacity for innovation, adaptation, and survival. The scout ship continued its silent observation, completely unaware that every moment it spent scanning Earth was another moment humanity was learning, analyzing, and preparing. In orbital research stations, on remote, technological campuses within advanced military installations, humans were watching, waiting, and planning. The first encounter had begun, and the Galactic Confederation was about to learn a very important lesson about humanity. Never judge a civilization by its initial appearance. As the alien ship continued its methodical scan, Jae-hwa looked at his team. No words were needed. They all understood what was coming. The research facility buzzed with quiet intensity. Dr. Park Sung-min studied the holographic displays, his fingers tracing complex molecular configurations. Around him, teams of scientists worked with a sense of urgent purpose that transcended typical military preparation. Quantum computing terminals flickered with intricate algorithms. Each screen showed potential engagement scenarios, weapon system adaptations, and defensive strategies that would make most military planners look like children playing with basic building blocks. Kim Da-eun, the lead quantum computing specialist, had developed something extraordinary. Her latest system could predict alien technological responses with frightening accuracy. Not just predictions, but instantaneous adaptive counter-strategies that could be implemented faster than an enemy could comprehend. "They're going to underestimate us," Da-eun whispered to herself, watching the alien ship's continuous scanning patterns. Her algorithms were creating a digital maze, feeding the aliens exactly what they wanted to see while hiding humanity's true capabilities. In another section of the facility, advanced nanotechnology prototypes waited. These weren't just weapons, they were living, thinking systems that could restructure themselves instantaneously. Metallic surfaces that could become soft as silk, hard as diamond, transparent as glass, all within milliseconds. Sung-min walked over to a sealed chamber where the first prototype sat. It looked like a simple metallic sphere, no larger than a baseball. But this sphere could potentially neutralize an entire alien battle fleet. Military installations around the world began subtle preparations. No massive troop movements, no obvious military displays, just quiet, calculated readiness. Submarines moved to strategic positions. Satellite networks repositioned themselves with microscopic precision. Global communication networks, which appeared fragmented and chaotic to external observers, were actually a perfectly synchronized system. Each communication point could become a potential weapon, a defensive node, or an information conduit. The alien ship continued its scan, completely unaware of the elaborate trap being prepared. In underground facilities across different continents, specialized teams reviewed potential engagement scenarios. These weren't typical military strategists. They were a blend of quantum physicists, computer scientists, psychological warfare experts, and tactical geniuses. "They'll expect a traditional resistance," one strategist noted, pointing at a holographic, galactic map. "We'll give them something entirely different." Weapon systems being developed weren't just about destruction. They were about communication, about sending a message that would resonate through the entire galactic civilization. A message that said, humanity was not just another potential conquest. Da-eun's quantum computing system ran millions of potential scenarios every second. Each scenario was a complex dance of technological adaptation, psychological warfare, and strategic positioning. The nanotechnology prototypes began their final calibration. Sung-min watched as the metallic sphere transformed, its surface shifting, through multiple states, reflecting, absorbing, transforming. It was alive in a way no traditional weapon ever could be. Global resources were being quietly channeled, not just military resources, but intellectual, technological, and strategic capabilities. Every university, every research center, every technological hub was now part of a larger unified system. The alien ship continued its scan, collecting data that was carefully manufactured to create a specific perception. A perception of a technologically limited, fragmented civilization, a civilization ripe for conquest. They had no idea what was coming. Sung-min looked at Da-eun. No words were needed. They both understood the magnitude of what they were preparing. This wasn't just about defending Earth. This was about sending a message to the entire galactic civilization, a message that would be remembered for generations. Humanity was ready. And the galaxy was about to learn a lesson it would never forget. The preparation was complete. The trap was set. All they needed now was for the aliens to take the bait. The first wave of the Galactic Confederation's battle fleet approached Earth with calculated arrogance. Massive ships stretched across multiple kilometers. Their weapons systems primed for what they believed would be a quick, Decisive engagement. Lee Hyun-woo sat in the primary tactical control center, his eyes reflecting the holographic displays that danced with incoming data. Around him, an elite team of specialists monitored every microscopic detail of the approaching alien fleet. Incoming vessels, a young technician announced. 15 primary battlecruisers, 17 support ships, standard invasion configuration. Choi Yoon-ji gripped the controls of her quantum adaptive fighter. Her squadron waited in near-invisible, orbital positions, systems fully integrated with Hyun-woo's tactical AI network. The alien commander, Admiral Krell, watched Earth with complete confidence. Preliminary scans had shown a primitive defense system. Their weapons would crush any resistance in minutes. It was a routine planetary subjugation, something the Confederation had done countless times before. What they didn't know was that every single scan, every piece of data they had collected, was part of an elaborate trap. Hyun-woo's AI system was already 5 steps ahead. As the alien fleet entered optimal strike range, something extraordinary happened. The tactical network didn't just respond, it anticipated. Engagement protocols activated, Hyun-woo said softly. The first alien missiles launched, powerful weapons that had decimated countless civilizations. But before they could travel more than a few kilometers, something impossible occurred. Each missile found itself surrounded by a quantum field that completely neutralized its guidance system. Some simply stopped mid-flight. Others redirected, turning back toward their own ships with devastating precision. Yoon-ji's fighter squadron moved like liquid mercury. No traditional flight patterns, no predictable movements. Each ship was a living, thinking weapon that could change its molecular structure and trajectory faster than the alien systems could process. Target acquisition complete, Yoon-ji's calm voice came through the communication network. The first alien ships didn't even have time to understand what was happening. Quantum adaptive weapons struck with surgical precision, not just destroying ships but systematically dismantling their technological infrastructure. Defensive shields that had protected the Confederation for millennia became completely useless. Weapon systems that had conquered entire star systems were neutralized in seconds. 17 minutes. That's how long it took for the entire first wave to be completely destroyed. Admiral Krell's flagship was the last to fall. As his systems failed, he saw something that would haunt the Galactic Confederation's historical records forever. A message displayed across all communication channels. We warned you to run. Back on Earth, Hyun-woo watched the tactical displays with a calm expression. No celebration, no excitement, just the cold precision of a mission perfectly executed. Yun's quantum computing systems had predicted every single alien move before they could even think of making it. Sungmin's nanotechnology had provided the weapons that made destruction look like an art form. The global defense network wasn't just a military system. It was a living, thinking organism that could adapt faster than any technological system in the known galaxy. Communication networks across the galaxy began to buzz. Reports started flooding in. A completely unknown civilization had just destroyed a Confederation battle fleet in less time than it took to prepare morning coffee. Yoon-ji's fighter squadron returned to their hidden orbital platforms. No damage, no casualties. Just a perfect surgical strike that would redefine galactic warfare forever. Mission complete, Hyun-woo announced. The first strike was over, and the message was clear. Humanity was not just another potential conquest. The Galactic Confederation was in total chaos. Their first battle fleet's complete destruction had shattered centuries of military doctrine. Emergency councils assembled on multiple star systems, desperate to understand what had happened. Kang Ji-soo watched the galactic communication networks from Earth's primary strategic center. His team had already anticipated the Confederation's next move, a massive retaliatory strike that would involve hundreds of battle groups. They'll be coming, Ji-soo muttered to his team, and they'll be bringing everything they have. Hwang Min-seo, the psychological warfare specialist, began preparing a communication strategy that would do more than just defend. They would attack the Confederation's very understanding of warfare. Quantum communication networks started broadcasting carefully constructed messages. Not threats, not warnings, just cold, calculated information that would make the Confederation understand the true nature of their mistake. The first Confederation response came quickly. 300 battle groups assembled near the outer planetary systems, preparing for what they believed would be a total annihilation of human civilization. What they didn't know was that humanity had been preparing for this moment for decades. Orbital platforms that seemed inactive suddenly came alive. They weren't just defensive systems. They were adaptive weapons platforms that could reconfigure themselves faster than the Confederation could scan them. Jisu's tactical teams had developed something extraordinary. Not just weapons, but a complete strategic ecosystem that could predict, counteract, and neutralize any potential alien attack before it could even be conceived. The Confederation's battle groups moved with what they believed was overwhelming force. Thousands of ships, millions of weapon systems, technologies that had conquered entire star systems, but humanity had been watching, learning, preparing. As the Confederation fleet approached, something extraordinary happened. Their communication networks began to fail. Navigation systems became unreliable. Weapon platforms started targeting their own ships. It wasn't a traditional attack. It was a complete systematic dismantling of their technological infrastructure. Huang Minxiu's psychological warfare teams were broadcasting information that did more than just confuse the Confederation. They were destroying their very understanding of warfare. Messages in multiple alien languages began flooding their communication networks. Not threats, not traditional propaganda. Just pure, calculated information that showed the Confederation exactly how outmatched they were. Jisu's team had turned warfare into a form of technological art. Each Confederation ship became a potential liability. Their own technologies were being used against them. The battle wasn't just happening in space. It was happening in communication networks, in quantum computing systems, in the very fundamental understanding of technological engagement. Entire Confederation battle groups began to retreat, not out of fear, but out of a complete understanding that they were facing something they could not comprehend. We did not seek this conflict. A message began broadcasting across multiple galactic communication frequencies. But we will finish it. The message was clear. Humanity wasn't just defending. They were systematically dismantling the Confederation's entire military doctrine. Quantum adaptive weapons systems struck with surgical precision, not just destroying ships but completely neutralizing their technological infrastructure. Jisu watched the tactical displays with a calm expression. Each Confederation battle group that approached was being systematically taken apart, not through traditional destruction, but through a complete technological dismantling. Huang Minxiu's psychological warfare was doing something extraordinary. They weren't just fighting. They were sending a message that would resonate through the entire galactic civilization. Humanity was not a civilization to be conquered. They were a civilization that would defend themselves with a level of technological sophistication that defied comprehension. As the Confederation's battle groups retreated, one thing became absolutely clear. The galaxy had just met a new power, and nothing would ever be the same again. The galactic communication networks went silent. Millions of civilizations watched as humanity delivered its final message to the Confederation. Xin Yirin stood at the primary diplomatic center, her fingers dancing across holographic displays. She wasn't just a negotiator. She was about to rewrite galactic diplomatic history. Kim Tae-hoon reviewed the strategic reports. Humanity had not just defeated the Confederation. They had systematically dismantled their entire military and technological infrastructure without destroying their civilization. The Confederation's leadership knew they were defeated, but this defeat was unlike anything they had experienced before. Yirin's first communication was calculated. No aggression, no demands for total surrender. Just a calm, precise invitation for diplomatic discussion. Your technological systems have been neutralized, her message read. Your military capabilities are compromised, but we offer collaboration, not destruction. Confederation leaders were stunned. Every previous civilization they had encountered had been either completely destroyed or totally subjugated, humanity was offering something entirely different. Quantum communication networks transmitted the most terrifying message possible: a potential partnership that would reshape galactic civilization. Tai-Hun's strategic analysis was clear. Humanity wasn't interested in conquest. They were interested in something far more complex: technological and cultural exchange. The first diplomatic meeting happened in a neutral quantum communication space. No physical location, just pure information exchange. Confederation representatives expected demands, punishment, retribution. Instead, they received something they could never have anticipated. Humanity proposed a collaborative technological framework: access to human quantum computing systems, adaptive nanotechnology research, psychological warfare strategies that could prevent future conflicts. It was an offer that was more terrifying than total destruction. "We do not seek to replace you," Yaren's communication stated. "We seek to elevate galactic understanding." The psychological impact was immediate. Civilizations across multiple star systems began analyzing the unprecedented diplomatic approach. Humanity had not just defeated the Confederation, they had demonstrated a level of technological and strategic sophistication that redefined galactic power dynamics. Tai-Hun's team had prepared multiple scenario analyses. Each one showed that humanity's approach would reshape galactic civilization more effectively than any military conquest. The Confederation's leadership understood something profound. They had not just lost a war. They had encountered a civilization that understood power in a way they had never imagined. Yaren's negotiations were calm, precise, each word carefully constructed to demonstrate humanity's capabilities while offering a path forward. No demands for territory, no requirements for complete submission, just an open invitation to understand a new way of existing. Quantum communication networks began transmitting humanity's technological insights, not as a weapon, but as a potential pathway for galactic advancement. The resolution was unlike any previous galactic conflict. Humanity had transformed a potential destruction scenario into a collaborative opportunity. Confederation leaders realized they were not dealing with a traditional civilization. They were dealing with something entirely new, a civilization that could destroy them completely but chose collaboration, a civilization that understood power not as conquest, but as potential. As the final diplomatic communications were transmitted, one thing became absolutely clear: the galaxy had just met humanity, and nothing would ever be the same again. Tai-Hun looked at Yaren. No words were needed. They both understood the magnitude of what had just happened. They had not just negotiated a resolution. They had reshaped galactic civilization,